Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, today is Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. It's a new week, new beginning, time to get after your goals or things that are meaningful to you, right? And good food, good nutrition will always help you with that. And if you eat food that are not as good for you, then your mission to accomplish great things might be a little bit more complicated because we are made of food. Food gives us energy. Food gives us health, vitality, positive mindset, so many things. So invest your time, your energy into good nutrition. It's going to transform your life. And I know that from personal experience. But guys, talking about good food and making good food choices, let's talk about why we smart people don't always make the best decisions. Like, we know something is bad for us. I don't know, a piece of cake, cookies every night, or a lot of sugar in different things, I don't know, from yogurts to sodas to coffee drinks, maybe that croissant that you can't live without every morning, even though you know it's not the best thing for you. Like, why we smart people make bad food choices. And I have this book in front of me. It's called Why Smart People Make Bad Food Choices. I'm not even kidding. The Invisible Influences That Guide Our Thinking. Jack Bobo by Jack A. Bobo. And so there are actually, besides everything that I'm going to talk to you about from this book, another thing that I noticed why a lot of smart people don't make the best food choices is because you guys might not be as convinced in that bad food choices or foods that are not optimal for you with a lot of different ingredients, processed refined sugars and refined industrial fats and all these novel ingredients that were never present in our foods. You might think that it's not such a big deal. Well, you eat it and then you poop it out. But nothing gets unnoticed in your body. Everything is metabolized by your gut microbiome, and we talked about microbiome a lot last week. Everything, to some degree, is being incorporated in your cells and in your tissues and in your brain and in your heart and in your muscles and everywhere. It doesn't just go in, and it doesn't just go in, go out. No, your body actually uses it. And so, for example, if you eat foods with industrial oxidized fats, those fats are incorporated in your cell membranes, and then your cells cannot communicate effectively between each other or let some nutrients in and out effectively, and that will affect your health and your mental well-being and your energy levels and your performance, mental and physical, on so many levels. Guys, every single thing you put in your body, part of this thing is going to become part of you. And they say you are what you eat. To some degree, it's very, very true. We're not built from some ethereal energy. We are actually built from the things we eat. And so if something is built from ingredients that we know are not the best, not of the best qualities, like, again, processed carbohydrates or different other ingredients, refined sugars, industrial fats, or all these ingredients that we really don't know much about, something gonna go wrong in your body. And if you do it more often every single day, it's gonna go wrong sooner. If you do it a little bit less, then it's gonna go wrong later. But things accumulate. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes sooner, but quality of food matters, guys. It matters for your memory. It matters how fast your brain can connect the dots, how many novel ideas and connections your brain can make. It matters for your fitness performance, because every single thing that you do, it's all about how fast, how effectively your cells can communicate, your neurons can fire, how fast and effectively, cells can metabolize different things, and that all is affected by food. So I don't know if I inspired a little bit better thinking and a little bit more thought put into your food decisions, but food is important. It affects everything you do, you feel, you think, guys. So that's about motivation. So Monday motivation, right? We need to work on our motivation a little bit every single day to make sure it's solid. For us to make better choices. Anyhow, I'm gonna shut up now and let's get back to the book. Why smart people make bad food choices. Why else we make bad food choices, even though we know a lot of times what choice is better. So number one, confirmation bias. Today we are talking about those reasons that we have in our brain, or the nature of our brain, how it works, affects these choices that are not always the best for us. So confirmation bias. It means that, for example, you heard from a friend about some diet like keto or clean eating or intermittent fasting, and then you heard from a few other people, and then you read so many articles on the internet because you Googled it, and now you're convinced this is the best thing ever. And you started doing it, but it's not quite working. Or maybe it worked for a bit and then it stopped. But you're so convinced that this is the thing that works for everyone and it's gonna work for you. You just need to, try harder, or fast more, or maybe you can't really, you are not really as consistent as you'd like, but for many other reasons. So anyhow, you start looking for the ideas to confirm that this diet works. You just need to, try harder or fast harder. And confirmation bias is basically what we do already. We try to find confirmation of why it's right, and we usually find faults in ourselves why it's not working for us, right? But maybe something else would work much better. Maybe removing sugars from your coffee drinks and from replacing your sugary yogurt with some all natural stuff. I'm talking about yogurts just because I was talking to my sister today about yogurts and her husband trying to lose belly fat. So they're asking me for some help. Anyhow, confirmation bias. A lot of times we keep doing things even though they not working really. So we make the same food choices and they seem to be fine before, but now they're not working. But because we've been doing it for so long, we're convinced this is the right thing. We just, need to try harder. So this is confirmation bias. Our brains always does this. So guys, if something isn't working, maybe it's time to change it and look into something else. Naturalness bias. And that means, when you see a label natural on some food, you think it's better, you think it's healthier. But sugar is also all natural. Like regular sugar, it's made either of sugar cane or sugar beets. Usually it's evaporated and then refined, but it's completely natural. Doesn't mean it's good for you and you should eat unlimited amount of it. No, honey is all natural, but if you eat a lot of honey every day, you're gonna get fat and diabetic. So all natural stuff you should look at it like at any other food stuff with caution, with logical thinking. Natural doesn't mean anything. A lot of natural things can kill us. Like you eat poisonous natural mushrooms and without any additives, it's gonna kill you just fine. So natural doesn't mean anything. But that's the bias a lot of us food consumers have. We think natural is better. Well, not at all. So always read labels, ingredient list. If you don't understand something, reach out. I'll help you out, but natural means nothing. There is not even definition what natural is in food industry. Not the one that everyone has to follow. No, natural term, anyone can put it on any product. So it means nothing. Mental fatigue. Guys, a lot of times we would make food choices in the worst possible situation, when we are hungry, when it's the end of the day and we're already fatigued and stressed from all the work that we did that day. This is the worst time to make any food decisions, and you're always going to make the worst kind of decisions. When the brain is fatigued, tired, it always makes the worst food choices. First of all, you're going to choose the foods with the most calories, with the most, sweetness and fat, foods that going to distress you and maybe make you feel a little bit happier. But those things tend to have, again, a lot of added sugars and a lot of other stuff. So mental fatigue, it's a thing, guys. Never make choices. Never go shopping late at night or after your work day. Again, you're going to make the worst possible choices. That's why to all my clients, I recommend make all food decisions in the morning when you are at your best, when your mind is sharp, when you're mentally fresh. That's when you should make all the food choices, not when you are tired at the end of the day. A lot of my clients stop overeating at night just because they stop shopping at night and they eat what they plan in the morning. So mental fatigue, similar is decision fatigue. If you make too many decisions about your food all the time, and if you have no routine, more often than not, you're going to make bad choices, because the more choices you make, the more choices you have to make, the less better choices you're gonna make. That's why it's always great to have a routine, eating plan. Like for me, I fast from 6 p.m. to 12 p.m. for 18 hours every day. I start my eating window with a plate of fruit, and there is only one fruit plate that I use, and whatever fruit fits there, I eat it, and that's it. In an hour, I eat my yogurt and my nuts. In an hour later, I have maybe a couple of hours, I eat my main meal that consists with a lot of green vegetables, with some starchy carbohydrate like beans or maybe sweet potato, and 300-400 grams of animal foods. Like today, I'm gonna have mussels, tomorrow chicken livers, etc. So I have a routine, and actually, when I'm busy and fatigued and all over the place, I start eating even better, because I just follow my routine and I never think about extras. So decision fatigue, guys, have a routine. That's going to help you to make the best eating choices. Halo effect. That means that, for example, we see some product and it says plant-based, all vegan. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I'm good for you. Plant-based and vegan can have all the sugar and a bunch of fillers that are also quite vegan, and a lot of stuff that just isn't good for you. It doesn't matter. Like, sugar is vegan, and so are most, they have vegan Oreos now, and Coke is also vegan. And again, most of the junk food are quite vegan. So guys, just because it's vegan or because it's low fat or because it's low sugar, it doesn't mean anything. You gotta look into all the details. Just because one aspect of this food is good, like maybe low in sugar, but maybe there are a ton of additives and preservatives and a ton of fat. Like, one thing doesn't make the whole thing, one good thing doesn't make the whole thing good. So you always need to look into details. And most of us don't, because we are fatigued and we make too many decisions. So we don't have time and capacity to look at the ingredients. That's why it's important to have a routine in the first place. But be aware that everyone does this halo effect. Plus, it applies not just to food, but to everything. We think if people look good, then they should be smart and creative and talented and kind and all sorts of things. But no, that just means that people look good. Doesn't mean anything else. Snob effect. So that doesn't apply like to a lot of people, but maybe to you it does apply. Snob effect. It's when a thing gets too popular, like organic food. You start caring less about it. Like before, organic was all like fancy and fashionable, and everyone tried to eat organic. And now that almost everyone, can get organic food, they're like, whatever. It's not better. So snob effect. Whenever something gets popular or gets, everywhere you can get it, like for example, low carb pasta, people start caring less, even though it's an amazing product, right? You can eat your pasta and not spike your blood sugar, but because it's everywhere people think, whatever, it's another like fat or kind of thing, not that important. So be aware of that and don't be a snob, but choose better foods even though they are popular. Framing a fact, and that has to do with the name. Like, for example, if you see a product that is vegan, like you see sauerkraut and it says vegan. I'm just giving you my example. And some people are, well, I'm not vegan, I'm not gonna buy it. But if it said something like sauerkraut, great for your hot dogs, and you're and you are hot dog person, you love eating hot dogs or sausages of all kinds, then you would get it. So the name, even though the product is the same, sauerkraut, it's always been vegan. Even though the product is the same, different name, different description, and you're gonna either get it or not get it, depending on how the words are aligned with what you believe. And realize that, it applies to everything. If somebody tells you, this is plant-based burger, so get it, it's better for you. They're framing this thing as a better for you thing, but most of the plant-based burgers, they are even worse than other kind of burgers made from meat and, made traditionally. So just because it's framed in a healthier perspective, or when it's put in a healthier frame, it doesn't mean that it is actually healthier or better for you. So be aware of that too. And then we have the last bias of our brain. It's availability bias. I didn't really understand exactly what the author was getting here at, but the nature of it is next. So when you hear, for example, it's amazing to eat fruit and vegetables, right? But then you hear, but there are pesticides and herbicides and, everything is not clean and everything is dirty these days. And then we're like, well, it's not worth it. I'm just going to eat my pizza. And so you hear more and more bad things about the stuff in our food, and you're like, well, it's not worth it. Again, I can just keep eating pizza. But fruit and vegetables, even if there are some pesticides left in your fruit and vegetables, they're still much better for you than pizza. Like, there is no question about it. Or, when I post sardines, people are like, but what about mercury? But again, first of all, sardines are not that high in mercury because they're small, and I'm not even going to get into that. But sardines are still much better than some ultra-processed sausage because they have omega-3s and iodine and calcium and magnesium and a lot of protein and so many good things. And just because there might be a little bit of mercury, it doesn't mean that now you should just go and eat whatever the latest junk out there, right? So that was about that. And these are the things, guys, that a lot of us have these biases or modes of thinking, and they don't allow us to make choices that we know we want to make and we would make, but for some reason we don't. And let's repeat again, confirmation bias is when we are trying to confirm the thing that we've always been doing, even though it might not be working for us. Naturalness bias, if we see the term natural, we think it's good for us, even though it means nothing. Mental fatigue and decision fatigue, when we are tired, don't make any food decisions, don't make decisions at the end of the day when you're tired, stressed, and also don't make a lot of decisions in the first place. Have a routine, have an eating habit, and you're gonna make much better decisions without having to spend a lot of energy on it or time. Halo effect. Just because something, is vegan, all of fat, all of sugar, doesn't mean it's good for you. Look at all the details and what works for you. Snob effect, just because, again, something is popular, like low carb pasta or low carb, cookies or a low carb, or maybe organic or plant-based, just because it has this label and it got popular, it doesn't mean that, it's just a fad, or you should be buying it because it's just this popular thing these people do. No, a lot of those new foods, they are quite better than their alternatives, so don't be a snob. And then framing effect, again, how it's presented to you a lot of times would define whether you're gonna get it or whether you're gonna eat it or not. But frame doesn't tell you the whole story, so make sure you are you are aware of that frame and think deeper. Maybe sauerkraut is not that bad for you, full of probiotics, even though you're not plant-based, and even though sauerkraut is all vegan. And then availability bias. So just because there is something potentially bad about fruit and vegetables like pesticides, it doesn't mean that it's best to eat pizza. Fruit and vegetables are still better for you many folds than pizza, even though there might be some pesticides. So that's about it, guys. Tomorrow we're gonna continue talking about the same book, but from a different perspective, from a perspective of environment, how our food environment, like for example a store where you shop, can make you make worse for you choices, and how you might not be aware of different hacks that are used in a supermarket to make you buy things you don't really want to buy. So again, we are talking about book Why Smart People Make Bad Food Choices, the invisible influences that guide our thinking. Re-listen to this episode again and figure out where you might be making this mental mistakes, or where you might be using frames and modes of operation for your brain that are not that great for you, that make you make worse decisions, even though you like to make better food decisions. So re-listen to this episode, share it with other people who are curious about, like, why am I keep making this bad food decisions, even though I want to eat better and I know how to eat better? Like, what's wrong with me? So share this episode with one another person, learn together, practice together, and let's eat better together, to feel better, to do our best, to live the most amazing life, and to also let's transform the food world together, because the choices we make help us to shape the world around us. That being said, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for all the other episodes this week. We're gonna have a few testimonials, or but I say solutions of different problems people have around food and weight loss and muscle gain. And we're also going to talk about this book till the end, because there are 3 chapters and we just talked about 1. So stay tuned. And as usual, guys, till next time, eat better daily.